Sup nerds? So if I was able to maintain my schedule, this video should have gone out on the 1st of 2025. That's right, 2024 is gone and 2025 is here. That said, 2024 was an interesting year for me. It was finally the year I was able to monetize my channel, even though I started way back in 2018. I know, it took me a while. Seeing as we are mostly a gaming channel now, I figured we could look back at all the games that I've played in 2024 and talk somewhat briefly about them and perhaps a few of my plans for the channel in 2025. So without further ado, let's get to that. So right off the bat, compared to 2023, I did not play as many games, apparently, and I didn't get as many achievements either. But that actually tracks because with the monetization of my channel here, I did start to focus a lot more in making videos for it, which as a lot of you who have watched my stuff before can guess, mainly revolves around farming stuff for Fallout 76. In fact, as you can see here, I did play more often in 2024 compared to 2023, just less variety of games and got less achievements, mostly because I already had all of the achievements in Fallout 76. So that brings us to the first game, of course, Fallout 76. Honestly, not much to say here that I haven't already said a bunch of times. I like it, I like collecting stuff for it. I love that all of their updates, even the really big ones, are always free for everyone, and that no in-game content that isn't cosmetic stuff are barred behind paywalls. Are raids kicking my ass without my friends to help me? Yes they are. Am I going to quit this game anytime soon? Probably not. That said, I have already slowed down a bit on it. I have collected most of the stuff in game save for the new stuff, so I assume I will continue to play and make collection videos for it as long as Bethesda continues to update it. Then my most played game on Steam is PUBG, and I was honestly surprised to see that the first reaction that a lot of people have when I tell them that I'm playing PUBG in 2024 is that of, wow, people still play that? And that's kinda crazy to me because if you look at the Steam charts here, it is almost always on the top 3 most played games if you look at the 24-hour peaks. Not only are people still playing this, it is doing really well, like more so than most games out there. Sure, there are newer and flashier battle royale games out there, but PUBG still keeps that pure battle royale experience, you know? No powers, no abilities, no loadouts, just you against 99 other people as you scramble for weapons and that sweet chicken dinner. And honestly, it makes me come back every time. Am I making content for it? Not really. We are mostly doing reviews and collection videos in my channel, and there's not a lot to collect in here. Yeah, you receive free skins quite often, but it's not like a set list of things that you can collect, you know? I do post showcases of the Battlestat skins that I am able to get here and there, but it's nothing serious, just short 2-minute videos. But even if I were to not get any Battlestats from now on, I don't see myself quitting PUBG, at least not for good. Then what most people watching right now might not realize is that New World is my 3rd most played game ever on Steam. Most of those hours were put into it in 2024. I did play this even before seasons were a thing in 2023, and it was a game that I honestly fell in love with. It wasn't perfect, of course, but it had so much potential. It had such a captivating world that just drew you in. It was a game that once I started to run out of content in Fallout 76, I had thought of making this my main game. That's how much I like this. I farmed for a ton of stuff in there. I even put out 2 collection videos for it, which most of y'all missed. And then AGS totally threw all that potential out the window. It's crazy to think about how terrible they are at managing this game. They were doing so great, all they had to do was maintain that momentum with more regular updates and listen to player feedback, neither of which they did. In fact, they often did the opposite of what players wanted. They lost most of their longtime veteran players because they simply stopped adding new endgame stuff. After a while, they just started to rework the earlier missions, and I'm not sure who wanted that. And once they relaunched the game as New World Eternum, surprise, nothing changed aside from the new/early game missions, just a few reworked cutscenes, and that was it. And yeah, launching it on console got a stream of new players coming in to check the game out, but because they didn't change anything to the end game, once those new players got to the end game, they felt exactly the same way that the veterans players did before Eternum. And just like the veterans, they quit just the same. Instead of thinking of a way to retain their player base, AGS aptly thought like a corporation would, just trying to increase their sales, which of course doesn't really solve the issue of not being able to keep their players interested and engaged for the long run. we've run out of things pretty quickly, weeks if that. And yeah, they did announce a lot of new stuff like the new map for OPR, which we have been begging for like over a year. But then again, why did it take them so long to bring us that? Were the tutorial mission cutscenes really that much more important? Who knows? But with every big update, the game's price tag also seems to increase every time, at least here in Brazil. So that has been a very awkward thing to point out, trying to convince my friends to play this game with me. So with all that said, as much as I once loved this game and as much as I still see untapped potential in here, can't in good conscience support devs who are just so out of touch with their player base and constantly have shown us that they don't really value their longtime players. So I had already stopped playing this game back in November and most likely won't come back in 2025 unless there's a huge change in AGS's attitude towards the game and their player base. Next is First Descendant, and I actually enjoyed this game quite a bit, more than I thought I was going to. And that said, there isn't much of an endgame here either, but it is still quite a new game, just a few months old, so I will keep an eye open for this. That said, this isn't really a game that I can show collection videos of, so I have been slowing down on how much I play this as well. I will probably still go in on the weekends and farm for the few characters that I'm missing at this point, but I don't see this becoming a main game or anything. Then there's Helldivers 2, which it sure has been a roller coaster for this one. There were quite a few dramas this year, ton of nerfs and then some buffs and then a few nerfs again. I don't know. It almost resembles the out of touch of AGS with New World, except Arrowhead does know how to make super fun games. Not to mention, Arrowhead doesn't bar game content behind paywalls like AGS does with New World. So I can still come back to Helldivers months later and still play without any issues. Playing with friends in this game is always fun. It's heck of a lot fun right now, but I'll be honest, it was still very fun even when they were nerfing everything and everyone seemed unhappy. Not that I had ever put this as a main game contender either, it was always just a game to go in, play a few rounds and then go do something else. But it is a source of good constant fun in the times that I do play it, especially with my friends, so 2025, I will probably still continue to play this somewhat casually. Then there's the plethora of games that I played on and off. I will try to be briefer on those. GTA Online, I feel like I did everything the game already has to offer, but I may go in for a heist or two with friends if we get the itch before GTA 6 is out. Elder Scrolls Online, I keep trying to get into this game, but it is a little overwhelming to me because I keep looking up all the free mounts and whatnot that I can collect in here and just see how long all that would take. But also to do all the story campaigns, and I know I don't need to do all of them to get to the end game, but as a completionist, I kind of do. And it's a lot. I do plan on giving this a more serious chance in 2025. With my schedule, we'll see. Final Fantasy XIV, the free trial version. I'm currently in no position to pay a monthly fee for a game, especially when I'm juggling around several games at once, which is why I tried the free trial version, and it's a similar take that I have on ESO. It's a lot of stuff to catch up to, and a lot of people tell me it gets good after a while. I'm just not sure that I have that time. That said, I still have it installed, and who knows, maybe we'll give it another try in 2025. Star Wars Old Republic, fantastic fun, but similar to the last two, I was fairly overwhelmed. Like, I did the first planet, it was fine, and then getting to the second planet, I am immediately bombarded with a bunch of content, notifications about events, weekly expedition stuff, and it was just so all at once that it did make me panic a little bit. That said, I do love the speeders and mounts in the game, I do love the Star Wars universe, so I do plan on going back to it eventually, and I probably should do that before this game dies. So yeah, this probably has a higher priority for me in 2025. Destiny 2. This game I have love-hate relationship with. For those of y'all who know me, know that this was my game for a very long time. That said, I'm not sure I can ever go back to feeling the way I felt about Destiny back then. Too much has changed, and not just the game. Bungie itself has changed drastically as a company, and I myself am no longer that younger nerd that thought everything Bungie touched became gold. And as I get older, I begin to realize I won't be able to play all the games that I want in this lifetime. So, as much as I appreciate all the memories in Destiny 2 and all the friendships that I made there, most likely I won't be going back to Destiny 2, as that is a universe that I already spent too much time on. Once Human, I tried it, saw that everything resets every season, didn't like that, and then realized I'm not a huge fan of survival games, even though I do play a lot of survival games with my friends. I don't know. Not going to be going back to this unless all my friends decide to play it and peer pressure me into playing this. Lost Ark. This is a game I want to like. I see streamers playing raids and whatnot, and I want to experience that. That said, none of my friends play this. The few times that I was able to convince some of them to play, I start a new character with them, and then they quit, so I quit. And then once I'm able to convince someone else to play with me, they start a new character, so I start a new character, and then they quit, so I quit. I have over 6 low to mid-level characters, and I don't know what to do anymore. I still want to get into the end game of this, but at the same time, not really alone. So it is very low priority for me right now. Dungeonborne, this was a very cool game. If you saw my review video on it, I did like it quite a bit, but I think it's dead now. Even back when I stopped playing, it was because I couldn't find people in matchmaking anymore, and I see now that the concurrent player number is much lower than back when I quit, so I already uninstalled it back then, and probably not gonna go back to this. Throne and Liberty, this was a very pretty and very new MMO that I wanted to get into. I was a huge Lineage 2 nerd way back in early 2000s, so Throne and Liberty being the next Lineage title, I was quite excited for this. That said, my computer is pretty old. Even with low settings on everything, I was having some issues running this, which is a little interesting to think about, since in First Descendant, which is also graphically impressive, I can run it on medium settings with absolutely no issues. But on Throne and Liberty, even on the lowest settings, it was giving me trouble, so I don't know. Also, I can't believe that they didn't give us proper mounts and instead made us into animorphs, and I don't really like that. Maybe if I make enough money off of YouTube on 2025 to upgrade my desktop, I might give this another try, but as things are, I'm barely able to pay my bills, so I don't really see myself going back to this anytime soon. Palworld, this is a game I thoroughly enjoyed, but it was a game that I was playing with my brother, so I don't really want to progress too far ahead without him, but also don't really want to start a new world of my own, so I don't know. If we find the time to play it together, I'll probably get back into this, otherwise it will stay installed, but you know, who knows. Disney Speedstorm, I was playing this very casually, but it is also one that I reach for quite often, just because it has cross-platform and cross-save, so I have this installed on my Switch, so whenever my computer is rendering a video, or when I'm in bed before going to sleep, I reach for my Switch and play a few races, and it's been fun. So I will probably continue to do just that, but then again, not really my kind of content here in my channel, so I will play but probably not have any videos for it. Maybe I'll make a review at some point, but who knows. Now, there are some offline games that I played this year, so let's talk about those. Fable Anniversary and Fable The Lost Chapters, of course. I played this to make that one review video and 3 collection videos on it. It's in my channel if you want to check it out. But I did beat these games like 18 times already, and 3 of those were in 2024 to make those videos specifically, so probably not gonna go back anytime soon to that. Hotwheels Unleashed was actually pretty fun, and I actually was trying this with Steam Link on my phone using a very cheap but impressive Bluetooth controller that I have, and it worked quite well actually, but it was just a try, and I have better racing games, so probably won't be playing this in 2025, but who knows, it's a simple fun racing game. Cult of the Lamb, now this was a game that caught me by surprise. I don't often enjoy roguelikes, but I watched that one animation video that had been going around and thought it was really cool, so I put it on my wish list, and a good friend of mine actually gifted this to me for me to try. I was having a blast with it, especially because I played on my ROG Ally, so it's quite fun. I didn't beat it yet, and I haven't played in a hot minute because I was focusing on my videos, but it is definitely a game that I want to go back and try to finish. TCG Card Shop Simulator. Honestly, I hate simulator games. I don't see them as real games, at least not really. But this, if you look at my earliest videos, y'all know that I have a thing for TCG, and this definitely scratches that itch. This was also gifted to me by the same friend that gave me Cult of the Lamb, and it's just been a great fun to pass the time in here. To open boosters, manage the shop, it's a lot of fun. Definitely not a main game vibe, but I do reach for it in my downtime. There was also Remnant from the Ashes, which I was going to go after all the weapons and armors to make a collection video, but a lot of it is a random spawn, and if it doesn't spawn on the world that you're in, you will have to make a new world and so on. It's a lot of repeat, so I don't know. Eventually I'll get to it, I think, but again, priority is fairly low because I don't have a lot of time. Then there were some games I didn't actually play but just logged into, either to record a segment to be used on a video or just to see if it was working on my Rogue Ally. So Riders of Icarus, I definitely stopped playing this years ago, but in one of my videos I did put a footage of some of the mounts in this game, so that's when I logged in to record. I did used to like this MMO a lot way back in the days, but right now it's one of those play to earn games with like crypto stuff, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that really ruined the game experience for the few people that were still playing, so I don't know. Probably not gonna go back to it, which is super sad because I do love my mounts on there. I did have a great collection of mounts on there. Maybe I'll show that at some point on a shorts, I don't know. But playing wise, I'm probably not gonna go back. Albion, I think I also logged in just to record mounts on it. Among Us, I don't think I actually recorded anything for it, but I thought of it, so I did log in at some point with a friend, but we didn't end up playing it. And a few Need for Speed games that I was testing on my Rogue Ally, because you know I love racing games even though I'm total ass in it. So that's what I played this year on Steam, which is what I mostly play on. And the plan for 2025, as for starting games that I haven't played yet, is probably some more single player games that I have been meaning to beat, like Hogwarts Legacy and Outriders and some other stuff that I have on here, and eventually make a review videos on them and possibly 1 or 2 collection videos on those as well. Because like I mentioned in some of my videos, the plan here is to make this channel a sort of database for all things collectibles in any game, but mainly RPGs of course. So far I've mostly focused on online stuff and only did Fable as the one offline single player game. But I want to increase that list, even though I know that not a lot of people look for these games that are no longer in hype. I still think it's pretty cool if people years from now play a game and like it enough to want to collect things in there, do find my videos at some point and find them helpful. So yeah, that's what I want to do. And of course, feel free to suggest any games that you would like me to review and make collection videos on. If I already own the game, or if the game is fairly cheap, because I'm still broken in debt, then I'll at least give it a try. And yeah, that's a very basic plan I have for 2025. More games, more collection. I will probably also sprinkle in some handheld videos in there, because I do love my handhelds and I do love gaming on the go like that. But that is the basic gist of it. So happy new year! Hope this year is a good one for you all, and remember, always nerd on.